Hello and welcome to Obinna TV. So for now, of course, wherever you are in the world, you know that Donald Trump has been sworn in for a second and final term as the U.S. president. So basically, Donald Trump becomes the 47th president of the United States. So what is his presidency going to do for the people of Kenya and Africa? So, of course, what is his presidency going to do for the world? Of course, he's come up with such a raft of measures. Basically, that U.S. withdraws from the World Health Organization (WHO), that Trump returns to the White House. Of course, he will launch a new era of upheaval. Remember, he is a far-right candidate, and of course, he is going to launch a new era of upheavals. He says there are only two genders, that is male and female. There is nothing as transgender. So basically, Donald Trump returns to the White House, but with a new era of upheaval. So basically, Trump has been sworn in. First of all, he's going to shut down the diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, which he deems as being detrimental to white Americans. So that means minorities are going to have a rough time in America. Basically, I think, remember, whereas America is welcoming of immigrants from all around the world, whereas America has constantly been renewed by immigrants. But remember, America was purposely built to be a European satellite state in which white Anglo-Saxons will call the shots. So, of course, part of the rise of Donald Trump has to do with white anger backlash on how the America turned its back on whiteness. That's just it. Part of it is white anger backlash on how the America turned its back on its whiteness. So basically, of course, I think the thing that incensed white Americans the most was the election of a black president in Barack Obama. So remember, even as America is going to be a country that draws on immigrants from all across the world. Remember, Donald Trump said he likes immigrants from nicer countries. He wants immigrants from nicer countries such as Norway, and of course, he wants immigrants from those countries such as Norway. He doesn't want these immigrants from third world countries who are coming to America in order to destroy the country. So basically, Donald Trump is going to be very much in his own element. He's going to make sure the return of the white power structure in America. Remember, it had been projected that whites will be a minority in America by the year 2040. So basically, I think that's what has prompted these reactionary measures from Donald Trump. And of course, you have a lot of companies tuning in to be in line with Donald Trump. You have a lot of companies that are tuning in to be in line with Donald Trump. A lot of companies are abandoning the DEI policies. Basically, they think now merit. But what does merit mean? Does it mean that when a black or minority gets a position, then a white male has been passed over? These are the sort of questions we must ask ourselves. Does it mean that when a black or minority gets a position, then a white male has been passed over? So I think that is how we should look at it. So I think that will inform the debate on what really constitutes an American. That is what really constitutes an American. And I think Donald Trump really here said he's not racist, but some of his remarks have racist undertones. What does he mean when he says that that is to have a meritocracy? Means there will be no color, there will be no merit. But remember, blacks have only been given economic opportunities recently. I think it is President Bill Clinton that set out to make America. I think it is President Bill Clinton that set out to make America to make America to have affirmative action. And of course, he was described. It is not even President Obama that brought opportunities for black Americans. I think it is I think former President Bill Clinton that has been described as enabling that is America to have some sort of black empowerment. So that is what I think white Americans are against. So basically, this is going to be a rolling back. And of course, President Trump initially he supported Hillary Clinton. Initially he was a Democrat. He supported Hillary Clinton against Barack Obama, and of course then I think he got incensed when Obama won, and so he returned back, and of course said Mexicans were raping our women, were doing all sorts of things to women, and of course you had some of his supporters urinating on Mexicans. So this is America losing its soft power. I just think America is going to lose its soft power. It's really an end of an era for America, I think so. I think this is an end of an era for America. So I think basically America is going to go down in terms of soft power. Remember, soft power of America was about inclusivity, was about bringing everyone, bringing equity. That is how the soft power of America was built. So basically, I think right now that exceptionalism of America is going to go down the drain, and I think this is the time that to ask really whether America is going to be that shining city on the hill where the rest of the world wants. When Donald Trump withdraws America from WHO, from the World Health Organization, he means COVID was a hype, that COVID was a conspiracy theory. That's what he says. I think that is just a grave error on the part of America to withdraw itself, and I know it will also withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement. So basically this means that America is basically going to withdraw from these policies, and it's going to be another America where inclusivity is thrown out. So basically I think what has really brought about the ascent of Donald Trump, it is not his policies, but he talks about things which Americans talk privately in their sitting rooms, in their bedrooms, in their living rooms. This is what many Americans talk about in their living rooms and in their bedrooms. So basically that is what Donald Trump is talking about. So I think what made Donald Trump rise was part of this nature, talkative nature. He brought about those conversations that could not get out of the bedroom. He brought them to the limelight, and so that is why many white Americans see themselves in him, and that is why then I would hope that Donald Trump becomes that. Donald Trump is able. I think that is why then Donald Trump is able to appeal to so many Americans. So I think this will be an end of an era for America. America exceptionalism is going to be dead. I think Europe will divide itself. Europe does not. There are a lot of liberal parties in Europe. Of course, you saw the resignation of Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. But of course, then this is just the way it is going to be. That Democrats. So there was a clear choice between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. So of course, they thought that Donald Trump was the one, would be the one to steer the economy. I thought that Donald Trump would be the one to steer the economy. Of course, they thought he will also be strong on immigration, where even it is unpalatable for that is Donald Trump to be able to. I think it is unpalatable to them that America can't lose its whiteness. So I think this is an America that is going to be a white power structure is going to return to America. And I think maybe those days when slaves were lynched at some kind of sport maybe could come back. We just don't know. You have a lot of white nationalist parties that are on the fringes that have risen ever since the ascent of Donald Trump. So basically I think America is going to be a country on a decline in terms of racial composition. I think it is no longer, it has lost some of its moral authority. I think the tariffs will work only up to some extent. Of course, you have the stock market rally, the ascent of the Bitcoin. Of course, it's now $100,000 to the dollar. Of course, $100,000 to one Bitcoin. So I think, of course, that they attribute that to the confidence they have in Donald Trump. So that is it. That is just it about Donald Trump ascending to the presidency. Regarding Africa, I just think Donald Trump will not have much to bear on Africa. He doesn't. He has called Africa some very palatable names. He has called Africa, I think, a shithole country. He has called Africa that he has not seen any country in the world that has been led by a black person that is successful. That is what Donald Trump said. That he has not seen any country in the world that has been led by a black person that is successful. So you can imagine those are the sentiments coming from Donald Trump, that he has not seen any country in the world that is run by a black person that is successful. Those were the sentiments he said when Barack Obama was elected as America's first president. So you can imagine, I just think this is going to be some kind of a decline of American minorities, but I think they should maybe concentrate on state and local politics. That is where all the magic happens, and I think when we do that, then will be able to have America then will be able to be a country of people that have that is truly blessed. So I think in that sense, then let's wait and see what sort. But I think for Africa, Africa really is going to be a footnote. It has always been a footnote in America's foreign policy, but under Donald Trump, it will subside very significantly, and I think that is the way that I think we could make America. So I think right now Africa will continue to be an aid and humanitarian hotspot, but we must get out of ourselves out of this situation where Africa is always an aid and humanitarian hotspot. Let's be the next goal right after China, so that no one can ignore us. You can imagine our Tinubus, our Rutos, our Ramaphosa. They cannot hold a candle to our Rutos, our Ramaphosas, our Tinubus. They cannot hold a candle to any global power. So that means Africa has to grow its economy by double digits. It has to know that basically if the world is going to take us seriously, we have to grow and be a double-digit economy, grow year on year for a double-digit growth year on year for 30 years in a row. That's how Africa is going to be a superpower. That's how Africa is going to be a superpower, by year on year growth, for 30 years in a row. That's how China lifted 500 million people out of poverty, and that's how Africa is going to lift its people out of poverty. Otherwise, you cannot hold a candle. No African leader can hold a candle to Russia, to the United States, to China. So I think Africa can pivot and be that country where there will be resources available. So I think right now Africa has to do more so that it can. I just think that Africa has to do more to fix its leadership challenges. Then we need brilliant economic managers. So whereas America, whereas Europe was theorized, so the precision expert consultant makes the rules, whereas America was innovated, so the creative genius makes the rules, whereas China was engineered, so the systems technocrat makes the rules. I think Africa can and should be 3D printed. Women need smart executioners. That is how we need smart executioners, 1,000 times more lethal than Lee Kuan Yew. That's how we are going to propagate the development and prosperity of Africa. I think that's how we are going to propagate the development and prosperity of Africa. That is how we are going to enable the elongation of Africa to make it global. We need to look at DR Congo alone. The mineral waste potential of DR Congo alone is $30 trillion. That could potentially make DR Congo the richest country in the world. So why has it not been for the rest of Africa? I think it could be about $300 trillion. So imagine the kind of wealth Africa is sitting on. But that's only if we convert titanium to aeroplane parts, we convert copper to electronics, we convert uranium to nuclear power, we convert coltan to mobile phone factories and computer factories, we convert lithium to lithium ion batteries, We convert coffee to coffee drinking chains. We convert we convert cotton to designer clothes. That's the way Africa is going to position itself with the rest of the world, and I think that's how we can remake Africa. I think that's how we can remake Africa. So of course Africa is not going to matter to Donald Trump. He has his own issues. He wants white America power structure to return to America. So there's no way Donald Trump is going to appease to white America, to going to appease to Africa. We are a footnote in a global policy of the United States. The United States very much. Even, of course, I think most Africans identify with the Democrats because most African Americans support the Democrats. But with Donald Trump, I think Africa is going to pull further and further away from the radar of America. But we don't need that. We just need to fix our leadership in Africa. That's the problem. We need to fix our leadership in Africa. That's the way to be able to have an Africa that is growing. That's the way to be able to have an Africa that is at the absolute bleeding edge of innovation. We just need to return our civilization. Our civilization, 700 years, we've not done anything in the last 700 years. That is why we need to return to that place. So what do you think about what do you think about the return of Donald Trump to the White House? What do you think about the return of Donald Trump to the White House? What does it mean for Kenya, for Africa, for much of the world? So I think this is going to be solutionist for the part of America. So what do you think about the return of Donald Trump to the White House? So you let me know in the comment section. So bye for now, till the next time. Bye for now.